Man, we always just would get a kick out of Redneck Bank. We're like, is this, because it would come through every so often, and we're like,
and that's a Plaid thing, right? That's something that, did Plaid make that up, or did we make that up?
No, this is a real bank, Ben.
Wait, this is a real bank?
This is a real bank. That's the thing. We would come, there would be conversations that would come through the queue of folks having issues with Redneck Bank, and Matt and I were always like, is this real? And we looked it up, and it is.
Of course it is. You are not alone.
No, you are not. Friends, welcome back to another episode. Today, Ben and I are going to start YNAB from scratch.
Yeah.
A brand new plan we're going to walk through. And the focus for us is how to set YNAB up simply. How to not overcomplicate things.
And I'm going to need some restraint here because I just so badly want to get into all the super power user things that you can do, but I think it's good to be like, hey, listen, you don't have to get into every nuance of every target and all these different features. If you want to get started, it's really easy. It's not a complicated thing at all. You can get into the nerdy details later.
Absolutely.
But, yeah. So I'm probably going to be pushing you a little more. But because I just love talking about this stuff, but we're going to try to keep it simple today.
And I think that'll be fun because I think we both do have different approaches to what simple means in setting things up. So I'm curious too, for the veteran YNABers out there, do you want to see setting up YNAB advanced? Do you want to see what that would look like?
I mean, the answer is yes. Every
probably
comment's going to be yes.
we could get super into the weeds on targets and categories and accounts and all that stuff. And this episode was inspired by the Fixing a Messy Budget episode. That's where, the plan had already been created, but it turned into a dumpster fire. Then you and I came in and kind of rescued the plan. So I thought we would start on the other end of things, just start it from scratch and see what happens.
Yeah. So why don't we just hop right in? And by the way, this is one of those episodes, if you're listening on the podcast and on YouTube, there is a major visual component. So you might want to wait for YouTube. But, when we did the messy budget, I talked to a lot of people who were like, yeah, I just listened to it and I could follow it and it was fine. So it might be fine for you too.
Okay.
So, yeah.
We must be describing things pretty well.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the new plan. And I started it from scratch. I clicked on the name of the old plan and I selected new plan. And then I'm calling this plan Budget Nerds because I'm super creative like that. And I have not even added the accounts yet. I'm hoping we can hold off on that, but maybe your take is different. Do you add the accounts right away?
No, I like to start on the plan, start on the categories, because you kind of have this whole thing where you design your life. And once you add the accounts, you're kind of on a running treadmill. You kind of gotta, keep up with it. And so I think it might be a lot of value in maybe even taking your time, maybe take a few days to really get these right or get how you want or get familiar, watch some content, read some content. And then when you add the accounts, you're kind of going, you know what I mean?
That's what I've always felt like too, because especially when you add those cash accounts, that money feeds into ready to assign. So you got this number just staring you in the face and your brain is like, okay, I got to do something with those dollars.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. And I think our onboarding right now actually does have you add accounts pretty quickly.
It does.
But there's a lot of really good reasons for that. But I do think if I was going to sit down with somebody and walk them through it, I would go through the categories first.
Yeah, so that's and I've already done that because I didn't want to spend, a whole bunch of time customizing these categories, but I have made some changes. I added what all of the monthly bills are, and this is just a fictional family. We're not really, doing role playing here or anything like that. We're just kind of taking some common expenses. Then I put the frequent categories there, and I added some non-monthlies that, I tried to pick some categories that would apply to most new YNABers, and then there's a section for goals.
I love it. Okay.
So the only thing that we need to do, just so we can show some sort of category customization, is we'll add a category from our own lives. So you have one, I have one. Let's do that right now.
And I think we've got a few actually of mine that you've already added, right?
Yes.
That's good. Okay. Yeah. Let's add pool supplies. I haven't talked about my pool in a while. The pool is a thing that consumes a large part of my life.
It's a major thing.
It takes a lot of time, but this year has been like so good because I finally broke down and updated some equipment that was worn out and there were leaks, and I didn't realize how much of a problem it was causing. It was making it very difficult to keep the pool clean. So this year has been great. So it's been nice.
And
so,
did you were you preparing for these things, or did they just kind of creep up the season and you're like, I got to bite the bullet?
Oh, it's really been like the past few years. It's just been like annoying. And we finally kind of bit the bullet, and we had some special allocations for the pool this season. So.
Got it.
Yeah. But the pool supplies category is really just for like regular maintenance, like mostly liquid chlorine and occasional chemicals and things like that. So, and what I do is I set money aside for it. And I set money aside every single month, the same amount. It's $20 a month. And then it builds up over the fall and winter and spring. And then in the summer, when I open it, I use it up.
Okay,
right?
so this is definitely a non-monthly category.
Yeah, I think I have it in my, I should pull up my plan, actually. I'll tell you what I have it under once I pull it up, because I don't remember.
I'll go ahead and add it right now. So I'm just hovering over the group where I want that new category. I'm going to hit that plus category button. And what did you call it? Pool supplies?
Pool supplies. You need, you gotta have an emoji too, right? I mean, you don't have to.
No, let's do it, because I didn't put emojis on any of the other ones.
It's looking a little stark. It's looking a little.
Okay, so this is your category. Where do you want that emoji? Do you want it before? Do you want it after?
Before. Okay. That's what I do.
I'm on board with that.
It's just search like pool or something. You'll find it. It's under my irregular category group. So
okay,
which I kind of like, actually. It's not really non-monthly. It's like it's monthly during the summer, but it's not monthly the rest of the year. So it's kind of irregular.
Irregular. That makes sense. Mm-hmm. All right, so I'm gonna pick the swimmer.
Yeah, pick the swimmer. Perfect. There you go.
Perfect.
Love it.
And the category that I'm going to add is the 2027 senior year category. So our youngest, Simeon, is graduating in 2027. And we always have a category for all the activities of that year. And primarily it's senior pictures and it's the senior party, the graduation party.
Okay.
Those are the two biggest expenses for the senior year, at least in our lives. And so we've always had to start saving for this well in advance. So I have that in our goals section.
That works.
And what's the emoji that we use for that? Oh, it's the graduation. Yeah, graduation
graduation cap. There you go.
And then senior year 2027. And what I decided, so for kid number 1, created a category. Kid number 2, I just renamed the old category.
Perfect.
But in this case, I'm creating a brand new category because it messed with the targets, and maybe I'll get into that when we get to that.
Yeah.
But maybe I won't, because I want to keep this simple. So
right. You're getting too nerdy. You're the one getting nerdy.
Yeah, sorry. Geez. Okay, so there's that new category. Okay, so the big idea here, and maybe you can kind of fill in with your take, but the way I explain this in workshops is just you want these categories to reflect your life. That default set, that may not reflect your values, your priorities, your actual life, your actual bills and expenses. So make it your own. But I always advise folks, don't shoot for perfection.
Oh my gosh, yes.
You can't get the perfect set of categories, especially right out of the gate.
Yeah. I mean, I've been YNABing for 14 years now. Or is that right? Goodness.
Yeah, because I've been YNABing 13 years, and I think you're 1 year ahead of me.
Yeah. I was like the math. It's 2011. Yeah, 14 years. And yeah, I mean, categories still aren't right, and they're never going to be, because your life changes, right? And your values change, and your priorities change. So yeah, you're not going to get it right. You're never going to get it right, and that's why it's fun because you're always tweaking it. Right?
And honestly, if you think you got it right, I guarantee you in 6 months, you're going to change it. Your category structure, your actual categories and groups, they're going to look completely different. So
yeah, and it's not like you're always overhauling it. I mean, like you kind of get into a groove for sure, but like, you know, you're always tweaking things. So
yeah, but I definitely think there is that moment where I don't know how far in, maybe 6 or 2 years in to your YNAB experience where you're like, okay, here's the ideal structure. And then that kind of becomes the baseline moving forward.
Yeah, you base everything off of that. Or, you know, occasionally people blow it up and start completely over, especially if they have a big life change, you know, if they got like a divorce or were married or had a baby or, you know, a million different things. I mean, in fact, Hannah just had a video that was really cool. I say just, when this comes out, it's going to be like 2 months old.
Right.
but she had a cool video where her and her husband just sat down and worked on their budget because they had a new baby on the way. So yeah, that's a perfect example, right, of a life change, and you have to make some changes. So.
All right, there we go. Boom. Categories. Those suckers are good enough. Let's move on to the targets. Ben, how do you explain targets to new YNABers?
I always go with the envelope analogy here, which helps as well, talking about these columns here. So this is YNAB at its core. Okay, like you strip everything else away. This is a digital cash envelope system. That's what we're doing here. So if you ever heard of cash envelopes, the kids call it cash stuffing these days. They invented it on TikTok. The whippersnappers, they're like, they came up with this new idea that the people have been doing forever. Imagine if you put all your cash on the table, right? And you started stuffing it into envelopes. You got your grocery envelope, your mortgage envelope, your utilities envelope, and you're only going to spend out of that envelope, right? That's what we're doing it in YNAB, but we're doing it digitally because cash is the worst, and you know you're going to lose it, and I mean it's just a mess. It's a lot harder to deal with, right? So the amount of money that you put into the envelope this month, that's the assigned amount. The amount of money you take out to spend is the activity, and the amount of money currently in the envelope right now is that available column there. And a target is like writing on the front of the envelope the amount of money that you intend to put into that envelope on a typical month, right?
Yeah, because every time you're paid, you don't want to hem and haw over, geez, how much do I need to put in this envelope this month or this paycheck? You just want to know, kind of, boom, look at a number, this is what I need.
Yeah, and because it's digital, you can even click a button and plop it in there automatically, which is kind of cool. But yeah, so but we're getting too in the weeds there. We're not talking about auto assign. This is simple.
Yeah. So, I mean, okay. If you're an advanced YNABer, you want to get to a point where you have categories or you have targets on all your categories because then it unlocks some features. And I think it makes the assigning so much easier. But for a new YNABer, you probably don't know how much you need in all these different envelopes. So don't stress about it. I tell, and maybe you disagree here, Ben, but I tell new YNABers, you don't need to put a target on every single category right out of the gate. Just focus on what you know right now. And then as you gather data, you keep adding new targets.
Yeah, and I think you can if you want to, but it's definitely not required, especially if it stresses you out. Just set targets on the obvious stuff like the mortgage, what we're about to.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm going to select the mortgage category, create target. Now, there's a lot of options here, but again, the focus is simply setting up YNAB. So I need money for the mortgage monthly, and let's say this mortgage is $2,100. Again, you can guess at these amounts. You can round up. It doesn't have to be exact. We're not shooting for perfection. And then you can even tell YNAB when you need that money by, but you don't have to. You know, you could pick the first of the month or the last day of the month for every category. Again, doesn't matter, but let's say I know the date off the top of my head, so I'm going to say, I need it by the first of every month.
And then just save it, yeah.
And then this bottom option, I'm just going to stick with the default set aside another.
Yeah.
I'm keeping it simple.
This is the most basic thing, and that's what you're going to use for the vast majority of your categories, especially if you're trying to keep it simple.
And what you're doing is you're telling the category how to behave next month. And next month, I want to repeat the process all over again. I want to assign another $2,100. So save that target, and then love this. This is writing on that envelope. The information is there. I know exactly how much I need, $2,100, and when I need to buy August 1st.
There you go.
And then the category turns yellow. That is my reminder to make sure I actually assign that amount.
Perfect. Yeah, well, so let's just go through them. Let's just do. There might be maybe one or two here that I might want to use a different behavior on, so we can get nerdy on that. But the vast majority, let's just set aside another.
All right, let's say the utilities, I pay that on the 9th, set aside another. Internet, $70. How much has your internet been?
Hang on, I have to highlight this because my dog is having a dream. And she's like actively, see her? You see her? She's like whimpering and moving around.
Just like Ridge.
Yeah, that's pretty cute. All right, well, if you hear any whimpering, it's just because she's chasing the mailman. Probably.
Bessie's in La La Land.
All right, sorry. a little quick aside there because it's necessary.
Car payment. That's a monthly bill. I pay the bank $350. Let's say that's always due on the 22nd. Next month, set aside another. Yeah, super easy here. Phones. I need $150 every month. By the 24th, set aside another. Car insurance for us, let's say this is monthly, $175.
So the monthly stuff is really obvious. I mean, you just look at your bill, like go look it up, and put it in there. Just get the information into YNAB, and easy peasy, right? Do you do pet insurance?
I do.
I think we talked about this. Yeah, I've been doing it now. I haven't really used it much, but I feel like I will. So I like it.
Student loan, that's $400. I still have not utilized pet insurance. I'm just like, everything is meeting a certain deductible.
Yeah, for me, it's like, I think I get like for like wellness visits or whatever, or like shots, I get like a tiny amount that doesn't even really cover it. Yeah. So that's all I've done so far. But if something bad happens, I think it'll help. Yeah, childcare. Okay, this is one that I think we could change the behavior on a little bit.
I think so, and we could change the frequency. I've heard that, I never paid for childcare, but I've heard that for a lot of places it's weekly.
Yeah, that's really common. What's nice about weekly is if you're paying a bill weekly, every 2 or 3 months, I don't know exactly the cadence, you're going to have a 5-week month, right?
Yep.
So like, let's say you pay it on Fridays, you're going to have an extra payment because that's how time works, and our calendars are weird, and so it'll just prompt you to assign more there on those months when you have an extra bill, right?
So I'm going to choose that weekly cadence, and let's say, is $100 a week, is that reasonable? I have no clue.
Not even close. No. I think we set aside. I think we had. What did we say? $900 a month on our little list here, which I think is pretty
Mary.
reasonable.
Let's do 200.
Yeah, let's say 200. Yeah,
the amounts they actually don't matter. So don't get caught up in these amounts.
Yeah, don't worry about the amounts.
That doesn't matter. And then let's say, does that always get paid on Monday or Friday? Or
Friday feels good. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
we'll do Friday.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm using the weekly one, and then you wanted to change the behavior.
Yeah, I was thinking more in terms of monthly here, but you could do a refill up to, because this involves, we were thinking like, okay, this could involve like an after school program, but it could also involve like babysitting, like maybe like an occasional day out, and you might use that and you might not, right? And so we have this behavior where it says, okay, refill up to $200 a week. So let's say 1 week you only spent 150, right? The following week, you don't have to put a full 200 in there because you have $50 that rolled over from the previous week, and you only need to put another 150. So it'll prompt you to put in a little less. And actually, the way this is going to work is it's going to take it from the previous month. So any money that rolls over from the previous month, it kind of just prompts you to top up that amount. So the target might change slightly depending on your spending from the previous month, which is helpful for something like this, because then you have that extra money that rolled over, you can actually just go and use it, and it doesn't build up in that category. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so you're basically capping the category. I don't want to go above this amount.
Yeah, and that's nice for something where it's a little bit variable and you don't want it to build up, right? You want to use that money elsewhere.
Yep.
So
yeah, and I think why this is advanced is because it takes a person time to realize what's going on in a category and how they actually want it to behave at that monthly rollover.
Yeah.
And what their priorities are with that money. So
yeah, and you can manually if you have money that's left over, you could manually move it somewhere else. But this is kind of, it almost automates that process a little bit, which is kind of nice. I think that's what a lot of the targets behaviors are. Is more about like automating some things that you could do yourself. So
yeah, keep it simple. Just use that set aside another. But if
you want a little flavor,
yeah, if there's something you're like, hey, this happens every single week on this particular day, and I don't want to make sure I have excess money in this category, yeah, then you can try the weekly cadence. You can try that refill up to option.
Yeah. And I want to point out here too. So you notice it says that we need $800 this month. So it'll always, the note will always tell you the total amount you need for the month, even though we set up a weekly target. Yes. And that's because there are 4 Fridays in the month of August, which is when we're recording this.
And I hope you can see it here. It's that progress bar is chunked.
Yeah. That's the other thing about the weekly target. It'll chunk that progress bar, which is kind of cool. So you can kind of see your pacing as well, which is helpful.
And that's where I think we stop with targets, Ben, because those are the ones, hey, we know these amounts and these dates right off the top of our head. I don't know how much I spend on groceries or eating out, gas, things like that, or, maybe some of these non-monthlies, but I don't know. Maybe we do. I don't know. What do you think?
I think for maybe some of them, like why don't we just kind of go through and be like, let's imagine ourselves as somebody new and let's just let's decide in the moment. Do we want to add something for groceries? I mean, I feel like that's one of the hardest ones for people to guess at. Don't you?
It totally. And people always guess really low.
They always guess.
They
low.
come in thinking, I'm being conscious of my spending, my money right now, so I gotta have my grocery plan as low as possible. But
yeah, or they just underestimate it because I feel like groceries are kind of like this thing goes on in the background, and you don't scrutinize the spending too much, especially when you're first starting, and so you kind of it's only people just underestimate it. They're like, oh yeah, I only need $50 for groceries a month, things like that.
Okay, well let's just take a wild guess here. Let's say $800 for the month. We're going to try that on for size.
Yeah, that feels good.
So monthly $800 by the last day of the month, set aside another.
And obviously it's going to change depending on where you live and your family and
so
how bougie you are.
Ben and I, we are just totally guessing. Do you want to guess at any of these other ones?
I think eating out, maybe not. I would leave that one off because that one maybe you want to set some money aside and just kind of see how it goes, and you can adjust as you go. Maybe for gas, gas for the car, or especially it guess depends on your transportation situation. Like if you live in a city and you're commuting, you might actually have a really good idea of how much you need for the subway.
I fill up a tank every Friday.
Yeah, or maybe you do public transportation. And you're like, I actually have a bill. Like I have a proper almost like a subscription for to be able to use the subway, or whatever. So
well, let's take a guess. Say 200. Try it on for size.
Sure.
Entertainment, no clue. Leave
that off. I think it's fine. Pool supplies, say $20 a month because that's what I have.
All right. So
actually, I just raised it to 30 because this has been a whole thing. Because the cost of liquid chlorine, which is just another word for bleach. It's funny, you call it liquid chlorine. It's just bleach, but it's high. The bleach you use at your house to clean your clothes is 6%. So it's 6% sodium hypochlorite, and the rest is water, right? And what you pour into a pool is 10%. So it's just higher concentration bleach.
Okay.
Anyways, it's doubled. Price has doubled in the past few years, and I have been refusing to raise this target and scraping by, but I finally admitted defeat and raised it from 20 to 30, which is not that big a deal, but
right. $10. Okay, so I'm looking at some of these medical. This was your category.
Yeah, this is one that I actually do a top up one on because I have an HSA. And so and YNAB actually puts money into the HSA for us. So I spend all my medical stuff out of an HSA, but occasionally either because we literally use the wrong card or we're getting something over the counter and we don't use the HSA, I'll put it on medical. And so I just say $100 top up. It's not actually called a top up. That's what I call it. The what do we actually call it? The
set aside, or excuse me, refill up to.
Yeah, which is really nice because I think that works really well because I'm not going to spend more than that. Aside from, well, okay, I do spend a lot more than that on medical stuff. I got 4 kids, hello, but like on over the counter stuff, it's not usually more than that.
Perfect. And then this remote work fund, this is yours as well.
Yeah, this is fun. So this is the thing. We just like want to have a little flavor of our personal stuff. So I was trying to get Caitlin to agree to increase our personal spending. This is how I did it. So we have personal spending where, and one of the rules is like if you go out to eat and you're by yourself, use your personal spending. And so often we'll go separately or sometimes together. We'll go to a coffee shop because my wife works remotely as well. She works right there. And so when we go to a coffee shop, we'll use our personal spending. But I was like, man, it'd be nice if we had like a separate remote work fund where it was just a category for getting a cup of coffee at a coffee shop when we work there for a few hours every once in a while, just to get out of the house, right? And so I was like, Caitlin, what we could do is we could have our 2 separate ones. We could put $50 in each, and we could use that refill up to behavior. And so it's kind of like a use it or lose it kind of thing. So it's not like we're always setting $50 aside for it. Just sometimes, it's going to be a smaller amount depending on how much you spend. Well, she loved the ideas. I don't think I even needed to convince her, but yeah, it's kind of nice to have like separate from your personal spending. It's just this thing for this particular purpose, and it freed up personal spending a little bit. So I kind of sneaky was able to get us to have more personal spending as a result.
Love it.
So yeah, that's $50 refill up to every month. That's what we do there, and that works pretty well. In fact, I usually leave more money on the table than Caitlin does because she goes out a lot more than me.
All right. Well, these other things, I'm thinking, geez, I don't know how much we spend at the vet, haircut, especially because these are non-monthly. So we're not spending money on them every single month.
Yeah.
And so just don't add targets, or just be comfortable with a wild guess.
Yeah.
Knowing that 6 months down the road, I'm going to edit this target. I'm going to get it more aligned with reality.
Exactly.
But I would just say, for most of these, and plus, because the other thing too is you probably don't even have a good grasp of what your non-monthlies are at this point. If you're just starting YNAB, that's going to take a good year to really have a handle on everything. Mm-hmm. So maybe there's a stuff I forgot category.
Yeah, I think that's essential for getting started. Just have a amount that you put into a category for things that you're definitely not going to remember. And once you do use it, then you have a new category, right?
And maybe in this one, we just do $100 every single month.
And this in particular, I want that to be set aside another because I want that to build up.
Yes.
So when something happens that you don't have a category for, you are ready for it. Because the huge part of the YNAB method is to prepare for those larger, less frequent expenses, like all the ones you see here. These things don't happen every month, but they are going to happen. And so we prepare for them, right?
Yep. All right, so I'm not going to overcomplicate things. Let's just skip those targets and then goals. Maybe there's some things. These are the large and small priorities that you want to set money aside for every single month. Maybe this is how much I need to save for that new water heater. Do you happen to know, Ben? This is your category.
No, for that one, actually, we can get a little nerdy with this one. Add a target. And this is like, I want more people to know about this. I mean, I think most people watching this probably do. But this is a really cool little feature. So go to custom, and say $1,500. That's how much I need for a new water heater. It's probably more now. I asked my plumber like a year ago. And for the behavior, say have a balance of $1,500, right? This is for like and then don't set a due date. So you can set a due date if you want. Like try that. Let's just show what that looks like. And you can set the date, and what it'll do, it'll say, okay, 1,500 divided by the number of months until that due date, and it'll give you a monthly target. And that monthly target will adjust based on what you do, right? But for the water heater, it's like, it's a goal that I want to go after when I have money, but it's not like something I'm regular setting money aside for. So I just don't have a due date. And you'll notice when you save that, it doesn't turn yellow because there's no amount that I need to set aside. It's not underfunded, but it just tracks your progress. That's all it does. It says, I'm going to need $1,500 eventually. If you set like $500 there, it would say you need 1,000 eventually. And it just kind of tracks your progress and also makes a note of how much that costs and what you're going for. And so I think it's really, really nice. I do this for bigger goals all the time.
I do not mention this target behavior in a workshop for new YNABers, but I think I could because it is really, really simple. It's just, I want this amount eventually. Yeah. And this is the exact behavior that I use for my senior year category.
Right.
So custom 2,500, have a balance of, and it's eventually.
That's perfect because you're not going to set aside a certain amount. You just want to have it like in your view. You know what I mean? Like, so when you have money, when you have some extra money, you're like, what do I want to do with this? It's like, oh yeah, you kind of remind yourself, I need this, and also I can see the progress, which motivates me to put a little more there, and it's just kind of like, eventually I want to do this. You know. Yep. And what's really nice about this too is it kind of it's part of making YNAB like your system of record, which is something that we say internally a lot. And we usually, when we talk about that, it's like tracking your transactions. It's just really powerful. But I think this is also really helpful where I want to get a lot of this stuff out of my head. Like I have this, I really need to get a new water here because and I really do, because it was actually, I think it was on Budget Nerds, an episode of Budget Nerds. Somebody pointed out that like you need to replace your water heater every like 8 or 9 years or something, or it's going to explode. And I've lived in this house for 10 years and I haven't replaced it. And I don't even know how long it was there before. So I was like, oh, I need to do that. And also I have 6 people in this house and we run out of hot water all the time. So,
didn't Jesse just go through something where he had to replace like 2 hot water heaters or something?
Yeah, he's got 1 million people in his house. So, it's just like, so I wasn't ready to set money aside for it specifically. So I just set it in there eventually. And I've actually put money in and then taken money out for other things. So it's like, but it's always there. Like it's something when we're assigning money, I know it's something that I want to get to eventually. And I just love that word eventually that shows right there in the app. It's really nice.
I love that too.
Gets it out of my head. Right.
Okay. So there it is. I think we're done setting up our plan. Now this is where I would stop. I think we might disagree with at this point, but
I want to talk about cost to me a little bit, if you'll allow.
Go for it.
Because I mean, this isn't. So, okay, there's a tension here because it's not simple. Like, it's not like the simplest thing in the whole world. I mean, it is simple. The feature's simple. It's a little more of an advanced feature, but I think it's really helpful, particularly when you're new. Okay, so you'll see their cost to me, and it says August targets. That is the total amount of all the targets that we just set. So that's the monthly. It's not the total amount that we set. Like it's not going to include that $1,500 eventually for the water heater, for example. It's just the amount of money that you need to put into these envelopes in the month of August, right? According to the targets that you set. And so you can enter your expected income, and we could make up an income for this family. Let's say like, I don't know, let's say $8,000 a month. That's just a number I pulled out of nowhere, right? And it's really nice because it shows you, okay, this is, you can kind of get a vibe of how close you are, right? And especially if you're setting targets on every category, you can really make sure that's realistic. So what I would recommend for folks, if you do want to set targets on every category, just kind of do it as best you can, guess, and then enter your expected income if you have a regular income. And then look at that and say, oh, you know what? This is too much. Like the August targets might have shown like 8,500, and so I got to go through and I got to adjust, right? And that way you kind of get a vibe check of, is this plan that I kind of set up on the fly, is it realistic? or maybe I actually have more money than I thought, right? And it kind of just gives you a baseline to go on. And I think it's really valuable.
Yeah, it can be valuable. This new YNABer would be like, hey, the things that I know I have to set money aside and pay for every single month, like I've got enough to cover those. And then I got about $2,000 a margin for these other priorities that I haven't set targets on. The reason I usually avoid this when talking to new YNABers is because I think there's that temptation to just hyper focus on the targets and get this plan to the penny exact.
Right, which is what I did for really the whole time until this year, where I finally let go of that. And it's been very freeing. I haven't, my cost to me is not exact. I have a little bit of margin. It's just like, and I can kind of move and maneuver a little bit, which is nice. It doesn't have to be, because it used to be if I changed any target, I would need to reduce another target by the same amount. And it was just, it made it so like my whole plan got kind of stagnant because it was such an effort to adjust my targets, right? Now it's not so much. I can kind of reduce things and increase things, and it doesn't matter because I have more of a margin between those. My targets don't match my income exactly. So yeah, I would say if you're trying to start simple, try to avoid getting too matchy with that. Right?
Yeah, because the targets are not the point. The point is the method. The point is to give every dollar a job, to take a look at the money you have right now and start allocating it to the categories.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I mean, for some people, you might be like, you know what? I think there is a lot of value in just making sure that plan is matching my income, particularly if your income is pretty tight and you don't have a lot of margin. That might be really important for you, and that might be one of the most valuable things you do when you first start YNAB. But for a lot of folks, I think keeping it a little looser is valuable too.
Yep. And then as time goes on and you become familiar with the software and the method, and you become, a full-fledged budget nerd, then just kind of go with that cost to be me, make a spreadsheet with all your target amounts, get it to the exact penny. That's totally fine, months down the road.
And then like 10 years later, you'll let go of it again.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But we've set targets on a lot of stuff. Some stuff we left targets off, but we haven't actually assigned any money yet. So this is something, if you are new and you're watching this is a really important concept to understand. We have not put any money into the envelopes, right? I'm just keeping with that envelope analogy. We have not YNABed. We have not done anything to follow the method. We've just set up our plan. That's all
we are going to start the real YNABing right now. So let's get our accounts on there. And I like adding one account at a time, because I want it to be as simple as possible.
Yeah.
So, and I'm going to link the accounts here.
Oh yeah, because you have the like the back end fancy. Yeah, you gotta like put in a particular. This is like a fake. Is it really called Redneck Bank? That's
there is Redneck Bank. So this is an inside joke. I used to be part of the support team. I was on the direct import team, and my buddy, you remember Matt W. that used to work here?
Of course.
Man, we always just would get a kick out of Redneck Bank. We're like, is this because it would come through every so often? And we're like,
and that's a Plaid thing, right? That's something that. Did Plaid make that up, or did we make that up?
No, this is a real bank, Ben.
Wait, this is a real bank?
This is a real bank. That's the thing. We would come, there would be conversations that would come through the queue of folks having issues with Redneck Bank, and Matt and I were always like, is this real? And we looked it up, and it is.
Of course it is. Of course it is. That's hilarious.
Their marketing is fantastic. Like, they just lean in all the way.
I have to know about this. Okay, because I thought this was like a fake bank that you made up for demonstration purposes.
No, this is not an endorsement or anything like that. This just makes me laugh. So
Redneck Bank, where banking's funner. Oh my gosh.
It's the best.
This is hilarious. Okay, I'm gonna have to go in a deep dive on their marketing somewhere.
Okay, so I'm gonna connect to Redneck.
But do you have this is the demo
dummy
fancy stuff. So can you do this with any bank? Sorry, I'm getting into the weeds.
I can do this with any bank. Yeah,
I didn't know that. I thought we had like a dummy bank that we had to set up. Oh, okay, that's cool.
So YNAB's telling me these are the accounts that Plaid will have access to.
And Plaid is a partner of ours that connects to your bank and brings in the transactions. So we don't do that ourselves. We partner with other folks that do that.
Finish without saving. And then here are all the accounts that I have with Redneck Bank. And I'm going to only add, again, I want to keep this super simple. So I'm only going to add my checking.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's a good idea. Yeah, if you want to start with just your checking account, by all means, please do that. I think it's fine.
All right, so YNAB is going to add that checking. There's $110 in there.
Mm-hmm.
And there we go.
Do we want to stick with $110? It's going to be a little hard to maneuver in the demo here.
Yeah, let's make this a little bit more realistic.
So so if you link your account, it will add the current balance there. Now it's not going to include any pending transactions most of the time, so you might want to watch out for those. But it'll include that balance that is in there in right now. Or you can, if you add it manually, you can add it'll ask you and you can type it in.
And if there's any new transactions that posted on the day you started, so we're starting this on August 5th, those transactions would be available, but there's not in this case.
Yeah, which is nice.
And then also notice that there's no old transactions. I think that confuses a lot of new YNABers. They're like, hey, where's, my bank's connected. Why isn't this working? YNAB only starts from today and moves forward.
Yeah, for now, that's how it works. And you'll always see that starting balance. Every account will have that automatically created starting balance transaction that you just saw. That puts the first money you have when you first open that account.
Yep.
YNAB.
So yeah, $4,110 in the checking account. YNAB feeds that amount into ready to assign.
Why don't you show them how to change the name of the account?
Oh yeah,
you can do that anytime.
So I just hovered over the account over here, hit that little pencil icon.
You can right click too.
Oh, you can right click. Yeah. Let's do that.
Yeah,
right click. There we go.
Isn't that fancy? Yeah, there you go.
I'm just going to call this checking.
Yeah.
Perfect. There we go. And now the real YNABing begins. My checking dollars are in ready to assign. It's kicking off the YNAB method. My job is to give a job to every single one of these dollars. I'm telling that money, here's what you need to do for me. I'm allocating it to those various categories.
Yeah, we're going to give these dollars jobs. So now we're actually keeping with the envelope analogy. We're going to stuff this cash into our envelopes. So consider this cash that's just rolled out onto the kitchen table. It has no job yet.
Yep.
And I think we should go by, it's August 5th when we're recording this. Should we just go by that?
Absolutely, because the mortgage, that's due August 1st.
Yeah.
And I paid that. So that $2,100 has already left my bank balance. So there's no need to take money that I actually have right now and put it towards something that happened.
Because a lot of folks ask us, like, do I need to wait till the first of the month to start? And do I need to get it all done on the first of the month? And no, you don't. Just you can start whenever you want to start. And just don't assign money to bills that you've already paid that month. Easy
and you don't need to tell YNAB, I've already paid this bill. You just ignore it. You don't assign money to it in the current month. So
you can even snooze it. You could show the snoozing feature.
Oh, is that advanced, Ben?
I just show it. It's a cool feature.
Category selected over here in the target menu. I'm going to put this target to sleep.
Yeah, it's like, hey, we don't need it this month. Just put it to sleep. And next month, it'll prompt you in September.
Yeah, so here in September, it wakes back up.
Exactly. Yeah. Which is a nice little thing.
So now I guess I don't have that yellow feedback.
Yeah, if it's bothering you, you can just snooze it.
Oh, and when assigning money, I always think through when's the next time I'm getting paid.
Yeah. So let's say
I want to focus on those bills first.
Let's say they're getting paid on the 15th because that's pretty common, twice a month.
So we need to pay the utilities. So we set aside $300.
And this is why it's nice to set the date because you can see it right there.
Yes. Right. This makes the assigning so easy. Now that hemming and hawing, it's not happening. I know exactly what I need when I need it by. $70 internet.
Yeah. So you see, again, we got the assign column. That's the amount of money we put into the envelope this month. And then we got the available column. That's how much is in there right now. Right.
So of all the money that we have in that checking account, we have $300 set aside for utilities, $70 set aside for internet, and we have $3,740 that are wondering, what do you want us to do for you?
Yeah, exactly. So we got the car payment, which isn't due until after the next paycheck. We could set half of that aside now, though, if we
Yeah,
wanted
let's
to.
just see what happens.
Just a demo that,
175. So I'm just getting a head start. That's why the category stays yellow, because YNAB's like, okay, you probably want to put $175 more in the next time you're paid or later on before you actually have to pay that bill.
Yeah. Or the childcare, we're going to need that because we pay it weekly, right? So maybe half of that, 400, and that'll get us through 2 weeks.
That's a big one.
Yeah. And you can see those two little blobs of the progress bar filled in, which is cool.
I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, car insurance, that's kind of a big one. Let's just dump 100 in there.
Sure. Let's go to the frequent ones, though, too, because we want to make sure we can eat.
Good point.
Right.
So maybe 2 weeks of groceries, like 400?
Yeah, let's do half. I think half's a good vibe for this particular situation.
So a couple weeks of eating out.
Maybe you eat out once a week with your partner, maybe like 150 or 120, something like that.
And remember, folks, there's no pressure here to get these assignments right, because you can always change your mind at any time for any reason. If you wake up tomorrow and you're like, oh, 150, that's way too much, you can take money out. Or if it's way too little, you can put more in. So
yeah,
we're not shooting for perfection here. $50. Let's just do that.
All right. Keeping it tight. I like it.
Is that too little? Should we do 100?
I'm thinking for like a couple weeks. I mean, it depends on the situation, right? I mean, who knows? Right.
All right, we'll add another 50 in there.
There you go. Add 50.
And entertainment, let's dump 100 in there.
Oh,
and just
man.
Kinda see.
We're going for it. We're
living large, man.
We're living large, man. We're gonna go to the roller rink with the kids.
Who said anything about the kids here?
Yeah, we're just like constructing this fake family as we go.
Right.
We got kids. We don't have any categories for them.
Okay, so we have quite a bit of money to work with here. Mm-hmm. So I think we could probably cover all of our monthlies and see where that leaves us.
Yeah, why don't you show them? You can auto assign it too if you select all of them.
Yeah, so we want to fund. And
this is a good way to do this too. Like you can select them all and it'll tally it up for you. So if you look over on the right, underfunded, if we want to do all those things Ernie just selected, we need 1,740, and compare that to what we actually have at the top. We do have it.
Yeah. So with one click of that underfunded button, we can quickly top off all of those selected categories.
That's another thing that's nice about setting targets, is you can just automatically do things like that, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, auto assigned is kind of advanced, but I know there's a lot of new YNABers that they don't want to go category by category and manually enter those amounts. So they want to learn auto assign right off the bat.
Yeah, and I think it's good for your first try to just do it, just so you can get the concept of what you're doing.
Yeah.
But I think it's pretty clear.
Okay, so now we've got $575 left, and maybe we just kind of sprinkle that throughout the non-monthlies.
Yeah, because we do want to, these things are going to happen, right? So you want to set money aside for them.
I'm going to put the full expenses. 100 in stuff I forgot, just because I probably forgot something. We probably forgot something.
Yeah, and we're going to need some bleach for the pool this month, so put it in there.
I'm just going to do 50 in medical. I'm going to give you that full 50, Ben.
Yeah.
Go ahead and treat yourself.
Go to a coffee shop and get some tea. I'm a tea drinker. That's a fun fact about me. I don't like coffee.
I'm just going to start assigning random amounts here. Again, I'm not trying to get anything right. I'm just taking a guess, knowing I can always change this plan later on for any time, at any time for any. Oops, that was too much.
Way to go, Ernie.
Jeez.
You broke the only rule.
Okay, I'm going to take that money out of life insurance, because that I know I pay in the spring. So I'll just hold off on that. Like, something could go wrong with the car right now
get
today.
Paid in 2 weeks. Yeah. So that feels good. And then the goals we'll hold off on until we have more money to work with. And there you go.
So that's our checking account dollars. We've given a job to every single dollar.
Yeah.
Should we add another account?
Oh, shoot. Yeah, let's do it.
So we've already... I don't have to go through this whole process again. Oh, add a different account. Yeah, I've got the connection. Let's find our savings.
Yeah, so this is interesting. So you don't have to enter your password again if it's the same bank.
Yep.
It's just like, hey, here's all the accounts. You can add this new one if you want.
So we're going to add the savings with $210.
Okay.
Okay, so boom. Now that account.
Should we change that amount too, or is that?
Yeah, let's change that amount.
Yeah, yeah. These like demo things, they always bring in like the tiniest amount of money. I don't know why.
We'll add another 3,000 there.
Look at us, we're rolling in it, man.
And the reason I did this one separately is because you can see that money's in ready to assign. So YNAB's treating my savings exactly like my checking. Mm-hmm. It just pools all the cash in ready to assign. And I think that confuses new YNABers.
Totally.
They're like, whoa, why is my ready to assign so high? Or they know that their savings is in there and they're like, uh-oh, this is wrong. Like, I don't want to spend that money.
Yeah, but you can just assign it to a category that you're not going to spend out of right now.
Exactly.
And that's what savings is. You are going to spend that money eventually. That's what money's for. It's meant to be spent. It's just you're not spending it right now, and that's what savings is. It's just money you're not spending right now, right?
So what do we want to put that savings aside for?
Yeah, I mean, we could do some of these non-monthlies. We could,
true.
take care of some of these, like maybe just bump, because, auto maintenance, $50 isn't going to do anything,
Yeah, let's put 100 in there.
That might feel better. But you could also do some of these goals too. You probably, if you're coming into YNAB, you already have an idea of what that savings for. Like it might be an emergency fund. You could add a category for that. You could add categories for whatever you have in your brain that savings account money is for. And you could add the money right there, right?
Let's put in 500.
Love it. Yeah, put another 500. Yeah. So you can see now it says, okay, you need 1,000 eventually. I just love that word eventually. Like it's so chill. You know what I mean? It just makes me feel really good when I see that. I don't know what it is. It just really speaks to me.
We didn't talk about these categories. So comfy bed, that's an actual category in my plan right now.
Okay.
Christy and I are so sick of the bed that we have.
Is it old and lumpy? And
it's horrible. Every morning we wake up and complain. And we're talking about burial plots.
You're getting old, Ernie. Oh, by the way, guys, today is Ernie's birthday. We didn't even talk about that. I didn't even say I didn't even say anything to you when you came in. Happy birthday, Ernie.
Well, thank you, Ben. Well, you did write me you wrote me 2 notes actually.
Yes, I did.
I appreciated those very much. Thank you.
But yeah, it is Ernie's birthday, so he's getting old. He needs a comfier bed.
and I think
he needs a burial plot.
Right. I think that if I don't get that comfy bed soon, I'm going to die a lot earlier. So no, it's funny. Christy sent me a text out of the blue. Maybe it wasn't out of the blue. It was on her mind, but she's like, I think we need to start saving for burial plots. Can you make a category in YNAB for burial plots? So
pushing 50, time to start thinking about dying. Well, we talked about this in our. Didn't you talk about it in our last episode?
Yeah, I did.
The last episode, or I don't know what. Time is very. If you're a podcaster, it gets very wibbly wobbly about when the episodes come out and when you record them. But when we did the weird categories episode, we talked about this.
47. I mean, it's weird. Like it does mess with me because I feel like at 47, I'm just like fast tracked to 50 now.
I feel like, I'm turning 37 in a month, and I feel like I'm fast tracked to 40, and that feels weird. So and 50 feels even weirder. So yeah.
Well, okay. So we still have quite a bit of money left.
We do. We're rolling.
I mean, what do you want to bump up? Is that hot water heater? Is that something soon? Put another 250 there.
Yeah, maybe just like 1,000 in an emergency fund would feel good, because when you first get started, I mean, like I want you to set money aside for specific things, but when you first get started, it might feel good to just have a chunk of change in case something goes wrong, right? That's what that's for.
Yeah. All right, I'll put another $50 in home maintenance, and that last 55 I'm going to put in auto maintenance.
There you go.
And again, like I just can't stress this enough. There is nothing to get right here. I'm just taking a guess at what I want to do with my money. I might wake up tomorrow and review all of these available amounts and just feel like, oh, I underestimated or overestimated in some areas, and I just might realign my dollars, and that's totally okay.
Yeah, huge part of the YNAB method is that last question: what changes do I need to make, if any? And so you're constantly asking yourself that, and just be chill about it. Just like that little eventually note, just be chill. Like just move money around. It's up to you. You're not doing anything wrong. But you are making decisions with your eyes wide open, and you're weighing the trade-offs, which is really where the magic happens. So that's what you're doing.
All right, so ready to assign is back down to 0. So on the account side, that is our big pile of money. Remember, we dumped that out on the kitchen table. And then with our categories, we just started dividing that money across all those digital envelopes. So this is what our money is set aside to do. I want to add one more account. I want to add a credit card.
Yeah. I think it's a good idea.
Because
people got those credit cards if they're not weirdos like me.
People have the credit cards and, they're doing their spending on it, or they have the credit card debt.
Yeah. Especially if you have, some of you guys might have a lot of credit cards. And if you don't want to add them all, I think that's okay. But if there's one that you spend out of a lot, I would add it because you want to capture that spending. It's important.
And something that a lot of YNABers do is put the due date of their credit card billing period in the account name.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to, but I'm going to do that. So let's say I pay the credit card balance on the 24th of every single month. And then what YNAB does is it creates a payment category. This is where I'm going to basically YNAB's going to help me keep track of how much money I have set aside for that next credit card payment.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to make some changes here, Ben.
That's right. We got to deal with that $410 of debt that we have right now.
Because, that's our balance. So this represents all the stuff that we bought pre-YNAB. And YNAB doesn't need to know what you spent that money on. If it was Costco or the gas station, doesn't care.
Mm-hmm.
But YNAB does want to know, how are you going to handle that current balance?
Yeah.
Is that something you're going to pay off all at once, or are you going to pay it off over time? And that's why our payment category is yellow. It's like YNAB is trying to, wave its hands at us and get our attention.
I think a key thing here is don't ignore the yellow on the credit card payments category because it is important. If you are a pay in full user and you want to pay that off, you have debt from before you started YNAB. And so you need to set money aside for it. Or if you have debt that you want to pay off over time, set a target for it. Make a plan for it. Don't just ignore it. I think it's important.
Right. If this balance was like $5,000, I'm like, okay, I'm going to create a debt payoff target. And with the pay specific amount monthly, I'm going to tell YNAB, here's how much I want to send to the credit card company every single month.
Yeah.
And then I'll just do that month after month until it's paid off. But let's say this is a pay in full card, right? I pay it down to 0 every single month. So I don't need to create a debt payoff target. I just need to, I'm going to let that category remain yellow until I actually assign $410 directly to my payment category.
Yeah.
And I'd kind of like to do that right now.
Yeah, I mean, you could do that in the next paycheck, but I think it'd be a good idea to go ahead and do it now. So
right, that would just feel good knowing that as of today, August 5th, all the previous spending I've done on the card is accounted for, meaning I have money set aside to pay for those things. So we need to make some changes here. We need to free up $410.
I mean, we could grab it from the emergency fund or maybe from the water heater. Why don't we take it from there? Because that's like an eventually chill thing.
Okay. How about the full amount? Let's just do 410.
Yeah, that feels good to me. Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to move that from new water heater to credit card payment category. So it just means we have less in this money in this category, and now we have more money in the payment category. So there's the 410 that was assigned, and now that $410 is available to send as a payment. So visually, looking at YNAB, I can see I owe $410. And sweet, I have $410, real money, actual cash set aside to pay that bill later on.
There you go. So that's it, right? I mean, then we need to do the YNABing going forward, right?
Yeah. Then it's, importing your transactions and getting those categorized. It's making adjustments. It's adding the new paychecks.
Mm-hmm. And then when you get a new paycheck, you add it and then do what we just did now again. Give every dollar a job, assign that money to a category, and just keep right on rolling. And you'll do that for the rest of your life until you need a burial plot.
Love it. So hopefully that's a simple way to set up YNAB, where we're not overthinking it, we're not overcomplicating things, we're just getting it going, and then we fine tune along the way.
I think if you take anything away, if you're new, take this away. Just be chill, just be like, oh, I'm going to set some money aside and it might be wrong and that's okay, and you'll adjust as you go. And Ernie showed you how to move money between categories right there when we moved money from the water heater there. So yeah, you can do that anytime you need to. Nothing wrong with that.
And a great resource are our live workshops. So if you want to interact with an expert teacher, sign up for a live or watch a recording. And probably the best workshop we have is the open Q&A, where we don't have any demos planned. Like for 1 hour, you just show up, ask questions, and get answers.
Exactly.
Or you show up and you listen to what other YNABers are talking about. You don't even have to participate. Just fly on the wall kind of situation. So
yeah. Or
great resource.
You're watching on YouTube right now. If you go to our YouTube channel, there should be a playlist right at the top that says "Start Here," and that'll give you actually Ernie himself will walk you through it in a little more detail. So if you want to get all the goods, you got it right there.
Ben, that was a lot of fun. I think we're probably going to do an advanced setup later on, just because folks are going to ask for it, and I want to do it myself. Like personally, I think that sounds really fun to get nerdy, especially about the targets.
Yeah. All right, let's do some YNAB wins though.
Let's do it.
All right, I have one from Libby's World 7649. Libby wrote in on the tracking versus YNABing episode, which was a long time ago. So thanks for writing in. And this comment says, 1 month into YNAB, I was already 42 days in my age of money. 2 months in, I'm 56 days in my age of money. And it's so cool. Never had this insight in my spreadsheet, not like YNAB gives me. I love that. That's really cool. Yeah, you can see the progress, which is helpful.
Yeah, and just knowing I'm spending dollars that on average I earned 56 days ago, that feels really good, especially when you watch that number go up. Now, it's not always going to go up. It goes down because we spend money. But yeah, I love that. Awesome. My win comes from Marcy. Marcy emailed in, and actually Marcy has 2 wins.
Nice.
I recently realized that the categories in the widget can be listed by priority. First, I checked the travel category. Then I checked my on-the-go categories. When I checked the budget on my home screen before spending, seeing travel lurking there reminds me I want to have some leftover dollars at the end of the month. That's a huge win. I love that. Those priorities are front and center, and it really shapes your spending decisions going forward. Second win from Marcy is after reviewing the Give Every Dollar a Job podcast, I discovered that I had 2 hand-wavy categories. I reallocated those dollars and deleted those categories. It's been a week and I haven't regretted it. Love that.
That's awesome.
Just getting more specific about what those priorities actually are and the amounts of money in there. Yeah, and what you actually need month to month. So awesome. Congratulations, Marcy, on those wins. And if you have a YNAB win, don't hesitate to share it with us. It can be small. It can be big. It can be something that you accomplished. It can be a mindset shift. It could be maybe something new you learned about YNAB, the method, or in a new feature that you learned. So you can leave that win in the comments. Otherwise, email us, budgetnerds@ynab.com.
Yeah. And I should say, if you aren't using YNAB, maybe you're coming here because you're just wanting to get started, go to ynab.com/nerds. That'll let us know that we sent you and sign up for a free trial. It's free for 34 days. So you can give us all a shot right now.
All right, folks, we'll see you in a couple weeks. See you later.
Bye.
Happy YNABing.